everybody, welcome back. Today I will be doing a quick tutorial on how to play the newest Zombicide Season 3 and a bit of a review in my opinion. It's going to be the first time that I teach how to play a board game, so please bear with me. I will try my best to make it as clear as possible, but it probably won't be in depth on how to play the game, but it will give you a sort of an overview on how the game runs, and you could actually see if you think the game is for your play group or not. So Zombicide Season 3 is actually the third one. I think if you played the first Zombicide, then you would actually know what the game is about. It is based on the hospital theme this time, and the game is for 1 to 6 or more players if you want. If you want to go with 12 players, then it is actually quite chaotic from time to time. And I personally think the best optimal, the sweet spot, is probably 6 players, each with 1 survivor each. So in the game, basically, the game is about it's a co-op working, and you just have to survive the zombies. To be honest, it has different scenarios and different quests on how you're going to beat the stage, and the setup is actually all in the rules and mission book there, which is actually pretty good. So I'm just going to explain a bit. In the game, everybody uses a character, so you actually get to pick a character that you want, and that is your character card. This on the top bar here, it is the experience bar. We call it the tension bar as well. So basically, the different color it means how much experience your character has, and if you actually reach a new section color, you actually gain new abilities as the game goes on. But then at the same time, the tension also means different zombies will spawn in, which I will get into that a bit later. So you could also tell that you can also see that each character will have 5 cards that they'll be able to carry, and 2 of them will be in hand and 3 of them will be in reserves. Also, each character will take only 2 hits. So if you take a hit, you actually take a wound card, and you actually have to put it in a reserve part. Basically, if you get hit 2 times, you're out of the game, but if you only hit once, you only have 4 slots of inventory left. So that is actually it gives you a sense of tension and how the game gives you pressure and all that. So that is pretty much how the game goes. So after you pick your character, each character actually comes with their own little miniature. So we have Joe here, which is this Joe guy here. So that all the miniatures are actually all made quite well. So you can actually see all the details on that. So after everybody's picked their character, then you distribute the equipment and all that. So in the game, there are actually different. So basically, in the character's turn, how the game flows is that each character will, during the player phase, they will have 3. Each player will have to activate, and each player will get 3 actions in the game. So what are actions? Actions, you could actually use an action to move or search, attack, swap, rearrange items, or use special actions, or even clap as well when you put sound tokens to attract the zombies. So to do that, so let's say so the game is actually really easy to play since you only have 3 actions to do, but all of those actions will be quite important. And sort of also key to survival. So let's talk about the actions first. Moving action is actually quite easy. You will actually see this is a tile, so you actually see different room space. So it only takes 1 action to move from room to room. So you can 1, 2, 3 or something like that. So moving is actually really easy and really straightforward. But so movement also depend. I'll actually explain the movement penalty when there are zombies there. Next, when you're in an empty room, when your survivor is actually in a room where there are no zombies and they cannot be out in the street, what you could do is you could perform a search action. So and search action only once per turn per survivor. So you can't go, oh, I will spam my search and search it 3 times. That doesn't work that way. So to search, there is actually an item deck which comes with the game. So before the game happens, you shuffle them up, and then the game starts. So to search, you simply just draw a card and just reveal it. Oh, sorry, the bulletproof vest is not supposed to be in there. Neither the nail batters. So let's say that's not a good shuffle. So let's say you perform a search and you get a sawed-off shotgun. So this is the new this is the new item that you have found, and basically you get a free rearrangement after you get the item. So that is actually pretty good. So this is a sawed-off shotgun, and then let's put it to use. So let's pretend that there is actually a few zombies here. There is actually zombies in the room, and Travis just performed a search and got the sawed-off shotgun. So the stats on the cards are actually really easy to understand. You could actually see that it uses 1 action to reload, and when shooting a zombie, it actually gives a sound token. So the sound token means that it attracts the zombies that come to they will actually go towards the sound if they can't see anybody. This is the range, so it could be shot within 0 to 1 range. So it could be shot in the same room if there are zombies near you, and it could actually be shot towards a room without zombies. I mean, not without zombies, 1 square away from you. So second one is how many dice you roll when you are performing this action. So with the sawed-off shotgun, you are actually shooting. You need to roll 2 dice. So after you roll it, you will actually see that the third column here is it will deal damage. It will hit if any of the die is 3 or more. So if you roll 2 double 2s or double 1s or something, that means the action is actually missed. And you will actually see that with the 3+, it's actually really good because you have half a chance to actually kill a zombie. So let's say you rolled a double 3, and that means you actually hit twice, and each hit will deal 1 damage. So zombies, normal zombies only take 1 damage and they will die. Then what happens is after you perform this action, you shoot 2 zombies there. 2 of them will die, and for each zombie you kill, you gain 1 experience. So to go back to the action card, after you kill the zombie, you'll move your dial up to 2 here, so you get 2 experience points. So once you actually get to the 7th one, you get 1. You unlock this trait, 1 free action, and then once you get to 19, you get either 1 free range action or the webbing ability, and so on. So that is basically just how combat works. Combat is actually really easy, and yeah, that's pretty much it. The third one, so we uncovered normal moving, searching, and attacking. The next one is actually trading. So let's say if you're in the same room with another character, and Parker actually wants your sawed-off shotgun. So to do that, she could actually perform a trade. So you can trade as many items as you want, or you can just simply give it to them. Once everybody has traded, then both Travis and Parker actually gets a free rearrange. So that is actually pretty good. Or the last action is if you are not trading and just want to rearrange the cards in your stats in your bag, for like cards in reserve, you want to change a gun to the left hand, right hand, and all that, you can actually do that for 1 action as well. So once all the players activates, then it is basically the zombies' turn. So zombies, there are actually quite a bit of zombie types. So in Zombicide 3, they introduced a new crawler zombie. So for those that don't, let me just grab the zombies. So in the game, there are actually there are actually comes with a lot of miniatures, actually 3 trays of miniature. You can actually see it in my unboxing. So there is a basic crawler zombie. They are just the normal average slow zombies that move and they only perform one action. So this is the thing that you will encounter mostly in the game, and they are easy to kill and they are worth 1 experience each. Next is actually the runner. The runner is slightly faster and more scarier, to be honest. They are just like the running zombies from 28 days or 28 weeks. And the cool part about these ones is that they actually get 2 movement actions, so they actually get 2 activations during their turn, and so they are pretty much faster. Next is actually the fatty. So you can see the fatty looks awesome. Oh, sorry. Runners also take 1 hit to kill, and it also provides 1 experience. So next we will have the fatty. So the fatty always spawns with 2 walkers, and they are actually harder to kill. They are more resilient, and they will take 2 hits to kill. But then the interesting thing about this is that, let's go back to the sawed-off shotgun. You can see that the damage count is actually only 1. So what happens is that you actually need to find a weapon that says 2. You can't just shoot it twice and the damage does not stack. So in order to kill it, you actually have to get a weapon with the number 2 on it, and then you can actually kill the fatty. Otherwise, the pretty much sawed-off shotgun does nothing to the fatty. So fatties also take gives you 1 experience, so that is actually just like a stronger zombie actually. Next we have the A-bomb. So the A-bomb, only 1 will come in the game. They are actually a rare spawn. They can't be killed with normal weapons. The only way you can kill A-bomb is to get the cocktail, which is by combining gasoline and bottle together to make the cocktail, and then it's a 1-hit kill. And the A-bomb actually gives 5 experience for killing it, and it is actually really difficult to kill. So that is why the A-bomb, there's only 1 running around in the game, and sometimes it is actually a chance spawn whether it comes out or not. And lastly, this was actually introduced in Season 3, which is the crawler. So what happens is that these are zombies that are not killed properly. So let's say both the runner, the walker have a chance to turn into a skinner. Oh, not a skinner. Will have a chance to turn into a crawler. Remember when I mentioned that when you're rolling the dice to see if you kill them or not. So let's say, remember that the sawed-off shotgun, you use 2 dice to roll and 3 to hit. But let's say if one of the die is a hit, but then the other 1 die is a 1, that means you deal that 1 damage, but that turn, when you kill a zombie, it means that it has not been fully killed, and it will become a crawler. So in other words, you still get the experience point, but then that means you have to kill it twice. So rolling once in the game is not exactly too good. Next, so when it is the zombie's turn, all they do is they will move closer to where the survivors are, depending on the line of sight first. So let's say that if they can't see any survivor, then they will move 1 step closer to the survivors. So it's actually really straightforward. So the fatty will move 1, the walker moves 1, the A-bomb moves 1, and then the runner moves 1. But since it is a runner, after all the zombies are activated, the runners get a 2nd activation, and they'll just run closer to them. So how does zombies attack? Let's say if today the turn starts like this. So what happens is that everything will move in. So the fatty will move into the room where Travis is, the walker moves in here, A-bomb moves here, and then the runner moves in the same room as well. Then after all the zombies are moved, then the runner actually gets a 2nd activation. So the 2nd activation is if there is actually a survivor inside the same room, the runner will instantly deal damage to Travis. No dice roll, instant hit, and then Travis will get a wound card. So it is actually, in other words, the game means that you have to try and kill the zombie as much as possible. And after all the zombie has moved, this will go back to it becomes the spawn time. So what happens is, depending on the game setup, how many players there are, you will have a certain amount of dice that you need to roll during respawn time. So to respawn, there is actually number plates where you scatter them across the map, and you roll amount of dice, and the dice will determine which location the zombies spawn. Excuse me. After you do that, and then you roll the dice and you distribute where all the dice goes. And starting with the lowest number, you actually draw cards from the spawn deck, which is the yellow deck. And this one will determine what kind of zombie will appear onto the map. So remember, when I talked about the tension, you can see that there is actually 4 levels as well. If all the player, what happens is that the card will look at the highest tension in the whole party. So let's say if we have 5 players here, and all of them is in yellow, and then one of the guy is actually in red, then what happens is that it will actually look at the worst part and spawn 2 of the walkers out. So in other words, it is actually quite difficult you have to keep in mind to make sure that everybody levels up together. If they don't level up together, some people might lose out on some abilities and then get overrun by zombies. So so normally you will see that with the the blue tension, it's only 1 zombies. Yellow and orange tension will be 2 walkers, and then the red tension will actually be 4 runners. So you can see that as the game progresses, as the players actually level up, you will actually have more pressure. Next, basically this is Zombicide. So then the players and the zombies will just take turns alternating and just playing through the game. But there is actually 2 more things I would like to talk about. One thing is that you'll see that poor Travis, he's actually stuck in the room. During your turn, if you are trying to move away, you have to spend 1 action point per zombie to move away into an empty zone. So in other words, let's say there are 2 zombies here today, you will have to actually spend 1 point to move out, but then you need 2 extra points from the blocking zombie to actually move away from the zombie pile. So in other words, you will have to spend time to actually try and kill the zombie inside. Lastly is that ranged weapon. So in the game, there is actually both ranged, you can see the shotgun here, the shotgun one, and also melee. So let's say the crowbar. So the difference between those is that let's say if you're Parker and Travis, they are in the same room today, and Parker has a crowbar, she will be able to choose which target she wants to attack. However, if today Parker was actually standing away or even in the same room and decides to use the shotgun to shoot, there is actually a priority. So if Parker shoots into a room with a survivor, the damage will always go to the survivor first, so the survivor will always have the first priority, and then the normal walker will have second priority. Third is actually the fatty and the A-bomb, so pretty much they will soak up the damage. Next is actually the runner, and then last it's the crawler. So when you're actually shooting, you have the advantage of shooting in range, but then the thing is that you can't choose what to kill. You have to kill, if there is no survivor, you have to kill every single walker in that room. After that is gone, you have to kill the fatty. So imagine when the A-bomb is there, it actually protects all the runner and the crawler from being dealt damage. So that is actually quite scary. And once the fatty is killed, then you can actually start shooting down on the runner and then the crawler. And mind you, this is just a single zone that the target priority takes place. So it actually gives a lot of tactics and a lot of, well, cooperation from the different players. So this is basically Zombicide. It is an easy game to get into, and we have played quite a lot of sessions, and I have to say Season 3 is a lot better than 1 and 2. I guess because some of the abilities, what in this season is that they actually fixed a lot of the abilities that went wrong in the first and the second one, that actually made some of the characters too overpowered or too underpowered. And so far at the moment I've only played a lot of sessions using the base game of Zombicide 3, so all the characters that were made for the game. I haven't actually used any of the Kickstarter characters. So I don't know if... So this review will basically be just on the base game, and I will give this game an 8 out of 10. It depends on the players that you play with, of course. It is actually stressful. The game is stressful in terms of the zombie hordes coming out, and if you guys can't kill them all, then it's pretty much game over. And other than that, but then you also requires a lot of teamwork. So there might be a lot of negotiation with who gets what items, you find a new loot here, probably to pass it, who wants to sacrifice or who wants to take the chance and all that. There is a lot of talk. So this is Zombicide. If you really like miniature games, if you like the zombie themed games, if you like a little co-op games, then this is actually a good game to pick up. It is not cheap, but I would say it is worth it if you guys like to spend around an hour to 2 hours playing a board game with friends. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys soon.